And we're back. I probably should put me on full screen, but there you go. Here's a sneak peek of who's going to be on the show today. All right, here we go. We're back. It's been a few weeks, but we're back on the show. Welcome to Inside the Horseshoe. I'm your host, Matt Beer. We're going over all of the matchups for this upcoming week of the NFL. Unfortunately, the Ravens decided to screw the whole schedule over for this week, so we're going to have Tuesday games too. So, hey, there's that, so I guess there's a silver lining there. I am Matt, your host today, and I am going to go across the panel right now, introduce everybody. First, he's back. I don't even know how long it's been. I mean, week 3, 4, 1, 2, preseason. I don't know. It's Papa West. How you doing, Papa?
Yeah, you say weeks. It's been months. Because you like doing this while I'm working. And crap, I'm working right now too. But I'm just in an I don't care mood. I would much rather talk about football than help people with phones and other technology issues. So yeah, week 13 NFL. Let's get into it.
Absolutely. I can agree, but hey, we might have shows go on around this time or a little bit later for at least the next few weeks because I'm quarantined, so that's something. But now we're gonna go over to the Raptor, Raptor Master. I on the bottom here it just has Raptor. It didn't say Master. But Jonathan Peck, how you doing today, sir?
Very good beer, very good. It's been a long time for me since I'd be back on the show. I had to take care of some health issues with myself though, so mainly surgery for my own self right here. So a bit of a long story. If you follow me on Facebook or Instagram right here, kind of knows what I've been up to the last couple weeks. Right now, I feel a lot better, recuperated right now, and I'm ready to come back and gonna plan to talk to you guys. It's been a very long time, so hoping to talk about football again. So I can't wait.
Absolutely, and it's great to see that you're doing much better now. Definitely had to be a little worrisome for you, but you made it through. You're stronger for that, so we're gonna get right into it now. So we've been out for I think 2 weeks. We weren't on last week because Thanksgiving weekend and all that stuff, and the week before I was busy with work and whatnot. But hey, we're back. We're gonna try to stay on schedule for the remainder of the season because this is when the NFL season gets really good, and this is like prime for NFL. You're getting those playoff matches. People are playing to make the playoffs. People are trying to clinch, seedings. People are trying to be number one just in the entire league. So it's all fun and whatnot. So first off, I'm going to bring up where everybody stands right now. I will say the overall records will look a little funky because there have been times where not everybody has submitted all the picks. They did most, but not all, Maddie. But no, it's good. So we're going to pull this up right now. I am currently leading right now at 121, 5 and 1. Then Maddie is at number 2, 112, 62 and 1. Could have had a few more wins there if you would have submitted stuff. But hey, it's what it is. You're not the only one. Number 3 is Alec. He's at 11 and 5 for last week. He's currently at 109, 66 and 1. He is currently ahead of Jacob Papa West right now, just by 2 games. And another reason why the records look a little weird is because I think you forgot to submit a game like a week ago. I think you did, or it was either you or somebody else submitted your picks for the winner for like the same game but 2 teams. So until today when I updated it, I didn't catch it because somebody had the Bills and Chargers as their winners, but the Bills and Chargers played against each other. So I just went with Bills for them.
It wouldn't have been me because I always put in the messenger so and so over so and so.
Okay. So maybe
I might have. I don't know.
Maybe I don't know, but I do think you might have had a game or 2 that weren't on here, so it looks so funky there and kind of threw me off. Then we're at Kevin at number 5. He also crosses 100 so far. Everybody is at 100 besides 2 people. He's 105, 71. Then we have Bruce, who is catching up. He was off a week, but he's only 3 games back from Kevin. He's at 102, 58, 1. Then we have Steve, who was 8-8 last week. He's 89, 72, and 1. And then Jonathan is at 42 and 30 with a 10 and 6 record from this past weekend. So there's that. So before we get into some of our predictions and whatnot, what were some of the some of the surprises for this past weekend with some of the games for you guys that you can think of at least? Um, I'm gonna pull up the schedule right now because honestly, I forgot who won and whatnot. Um, so here we go. Oh, okay, yeah. Here's one. For me anyway, the Raiders losing to the Falcons as bad as they did was a big surprise.
Yeah.
And I think that proves the Raiders are just a team you just don't know who they are because there's weeks where they look really good, look like they could compete, maybe for their division because they've almost beaten the Chiefs, last weekend and they beat them in week 1 or 2 weeks ago. But then they come in and they play against teams like the Falcons or other teams that they should win against, but they get blown out. So that was definitely one. And then the Rams was another big shock to me, losing to the 49ers. But maybe the 49ers are kind of getting their thing back. Maybe they'll make a run towards the end of the year to get that number 7 spot, which they might at number 7 right now because they're tied with the Bears. The Bears were once at that spot. I think the Vikings just took it. No, I think they're tied at I think they're tied. I'll pull up the current playoff standings too, and we can talk about that a little bit. But yeah, I mean Rams losing, especially with how good they've looked. Beating teams like Tampa Bay and beating the Seahawks like they did and whatnot. I thought they were going to beat the 49ers and see from there, but that was a big surprise. Surprises for you guys?
Well, we're not going to talk about it, Matt. So I'll go ahead and bring it up. Holy crap, the Colts got raped.
Fuck off. Fuck off. So I will say about that game though, I think that game showed on the defense how important DeForest Buckner is to the whole defensive line. Not only him, but Autry too. Who's DeForest Buckner? Oh, yeah, in there, so I'll forgive you. DeForest Buckner. After how the Colts played on defense last week, he might be in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. I think he was already in the conversation anyway, but you might have to kind of put him in that top 2 or 3. Because he could not stop Henry, but I will say though, I think Henry's the only running back that's not defense. Good things. Now, assuming they don't play in the playoffs, don't have to worry about Derrick Henry anymore. But no, DeForest Buckner's back. That's good. That's something to keep an eye on. Autry's also back. Oh, Tom Brady. Who's Tom Brady? I don't know. He's some old guy that retired in Florida. But no, yeah. So thank you for bringing up the bad memories. I was
welcome.
Not happy, and it was on my grandma's birthday. So yeah, she loved that. Touchdown Clemson, by the way. If you want to know, Clemson's up 10-7. So there's that.
Shocker.
But also, I do want to bring up real quick before I forget, Matt Patricia gets fired. Finally, second coach I believe to get fired this year. Bill O'Brien was the first one. Now Matt Patricia is next, or was second. So what?
Because Dan Quinn got fired too.
Right. Dan Quinn got fired too. So he's number 3. So what were your guys' thoughts on them firing him? I believe on Saturday, and who do you think is next to get fired?
Well, the firing Patricia and Quinn, not surprising. And let's be honest, right here, the Lions are trying to do an imitation of the Patriots. Like if you've seen the past, like past Patriots assistants, try and use them on the outside in New England. It don't usually work, and that is not surprising. It's kind of like Patricia's kind of like a Brissette teacher who's trying to aloof the situation and realize you don't do that well. So I'm not surprised on that one. Possible coaches I might let go next. I have two actually. One is a coach that is a little bit more of frustration right here. He had opportunities to might fix some of the issues along with it. To see there's some games go on. And the more he tries that, it felt like it's sort of a Mike Dangerman right here. Even when they have one great player on your staff and you don't fully utilize and some of the pieces around him, I think it might be the best way they might let go. I'm talking about Anthony Lynn of the Chargers. It's kind of a sad way to say it because I originally watched watched Fort Knox during the summer, and I was just feeling for him right here and taking on the team to San Diego, turn to the Chargers right here, check on the team right there. And I was a little more disappointed how he's doing with issue with game management and also trying to use some timing along with it. And besides, if Justin Herbert is way too good to be leading team with a 3-8 record like this, like you need someone to help him out, not only maybe have some help with the offensive stuff, or me help at least the defense at least though. So I think we'll be surprised that Lynn might be the next coach to go along with it. The other one I had in mind was, I don't know, maybe Wayne might get out of it, or might possibly is the hot seat. And I want you two thoughts on it. Of the Chicago Bears.
I think that's very, very likely. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what Chicago does after this year, not only with him, but with their general manager, see if they want to stick it out one more year or if they're just done and want to completely restart. Because there are some quarterbacks that they could potentially pick up in the draft, although I would go offensive lineman first because I don't think anybody will survive on that team.
Yeah, there are more problems besides the QB along with that. Even it doesn't matter who your quarterback is, you need to have a strong line at least to help them out. Even someone that banged up, you need to have a strong line to help you out along with it.
Right. So first off, yes, it is the one and only Raptor Master.
Ray is like, thank you.
Yeah, and yes, I can see that. I am Joe. I can see this. There's a conversation going on. They don't know who's who. But no, I think Matt Nagy is definitely a possibility to get fired. And I do think Anthony Lynn is going to get fired. I don't think it's going to be during the year, though. I think if he gets fired, it's going to be in the off season, like after, once the playoffs are about to start, on Black Monday, you're going to see him get fired. And then I think you'll see Adam Gase get fired. I think he's obviously, he's the obvious pick for who's going to get fired. But, I mean, it's the Jets. You never know. They might stick with him because he's apparently an offensive mastermind, according to the Jets. But, no, he'll probably get fired. There's plenty of guys. So yeah. Yeah. So yes. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce your name out of try not to offend you, but he does have a Joker poster. He sure does. And and Tux Ray, let's
I'm on the stream at work. You're not gonna get fired for watching it at work.
Yeah, I mean, you can listen at work, but you won't get fired, I don't think. Now we're gonna bring on.
Can I not talk about people getting fired?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I don't think he's gonna get fired, but it's Alec Miller. How you doing, Alec? Oh, there. Oh, there we go. There we go.
I'm using my phone and it sucks.
Oh no, you're good. You're good.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna pull up my video producer thing real quick. So I guess I'll ask you two and Papa, because I don't know if you answered or not. Who do you think could potentially get fired as a NFL coach? Because I think you could see like I said, Adam Gase, but Matt Nagy was mentioned, Anthony Lynn. But what about you guys? Who do you think could potentially be on the ballot? I think there's a guy that nobody's mentioned yet. But I'll wait.
I do have Gase and Nagy on my hot seat list.
Mhm.
Lynn, I think it's still a little too early because he hasn't been coaching that long. This is
Right.
also his first head coaching job, so I mean, there's going to be some stuff to work out. And Jonathan, you're right; he has made some horrible game time decisions past couple weeks that have cost the Chargers wins. I still just think it's a little too early for them. And I hate to say it, but I think I know, Matt, who you're thinking would be Doug Peterson and
Yep, that's exactly
my
what I was
beloved
thinking.
Philadelphia Eagles. There's just a lot of issues going on there, and it is no one person's fault.
Right.
Because we have a Swiss cheese of an offensive line, and it's really hurt us. And it's I don't want to see it happen, but I do think this is going to be Doug Peterson's last year, unless they can win out and make the playoffs and make a playoff run, which probably isn't going to happen.
Right. I do want to say, you gotta go treat your patients, man. Go treat those patients. Well, you can go to our YouTube channel. We have the, we'll have the show on there after the fact for sure. Just same as the Twitch name if you're not already from there. And yes, he does like your stocking on the decoration back there. He does like it.
Hey, yes, my son's stocking, so I really appreciate it.
There you go.
Hey, also, if I can move right.
But and he also said I was eating bread.
Hey, we got some.
He also said I was eating bread. I got Raising Cane's.
Yep. Oh, okay, yeah.
So yeah, I got Raising
I don't
Cane's. So I was eating. I wasn't just randomly eating bread.
Like, I might have to start eating bread randomly, but I don't have to do that. But is there anybody else you think could get fired, Alec? Before we get into the picks for the week.
I think I kind of got him. I think Doug Peterson is probably a guarantee at this point. I think, and I don't remember where I heard it, but I heard he just doesn't look like he wants to be there. Like he just seems like he's kind of taking a back seat. He's just kind of washing his hands. It kind of sucks because I also think I don't really put it all on him. I think Doug Peterson's a good coach. I just think he's got hit by a crazy amount of injuries every damn year.
Right.
It kind of sucks when you have. I would probably put more on drafting. Like when you pass up guys like, I mean, everyone passed on DK, but DK and then you pick a JJ or say a Whiteside, but you took Traeger instead of taking Justin Jefferson. It's hard to trust me. I've been there. If Bill O'Brien was still hired, I would have said Bill O'Brien, but he's gone.
Right.
But yeah, I think if Gase doesn't get fired, that I don't know. I'll probably get up on the league. Like, there's no way the man should still have a job.
Yeah, I would be shocked if he has the job still. Don't
pull like a Hugh Jackson. Basically, you come back to 16. Basically.
Yeah, that's true. That could potentially.
Yeah,
happen.
and then who was it? Todd Bowles that they fired after 1 year.
Yeah,
they fired Todd Bowles after 1 year, and they've given Adam Gase 2 years, and he hasn't gotten better. He's actually. Yeah.
Well, it was like
the absolute travesty.
Right.
Job.
It was like Detroit. They fired that Jim Caldwell or whatever Caldwell when he was like 8-8 or 9-7, and I think they made the playoffs and they fired him, and they replaced him with Patricia. It's like, I mean, you don't fire that man. I mean, you're Detroit. You have a little bit of success. You got to continue it, But it's like they want to suck, But no. So I'm gonna get us into the predictions for the upcoming week real quick, and what I'll also do is I'll throw in the over/unders or the spread for each game too, see who's favored, whatnot, and then if you guys want to give your thoughts on the spread as well, you can. If not, it's all good. So I'll just go in the order of what it has on the app real quick. So the first game we're going to talk about real quick is, come on, man, see, there we go. Is the Cincinnati Bengals traveling to Miami to take on the Dolphins? I'm not sure who's going to be starting for Miami as their quarterback. I don't think they ruled out Tua, but I could be wrong. They could have said something today even. But I'm going to go to Jacob first. Who do you have winning in that game? And for those who want to know, the spread right now is Miami is favored by 10.5 points. So what are your thoughts on this game?
I don't think it matters who starts between Fitzpatrick or Tua. The Dolphins have been crazy good lately with both quarterbacks, and especially that defense. Very, very surprising to see how dominant their defense has been. And then, of course, you have the Bengals, who Joe Burrow's not playing. He would have been their only. He would have been their only hope. So I definitely have the Dolphins. Dolphins winning it and getting more than 10 points.
Right. Okay. I will agree. I did say though, I believe at the beginning of the year it would take a little bit of time because preseason and it was a shortened off season for them. But Miami's defense is going to be really good because a lot of those guys that they got did come from New England, and they also got that really good corner from Dallas, Byron Jones. So I had a feeling that their defense was going to be better than what we expected. But I didn't think they would be as good as they are right now. I thought they would sneak in for that last spot, but I didn't think they would be battling for the division. I thought it was going to be Buffalo's, and that would be that for that would just be that. So now we're going to go to Alec. Who do you have winning between Miami and Cincinnati? And do you think Miami covers on the spread?
I think they probably do cover. The Miami's been probably the biggest surprise of the year. They're a surprise this year, but Miami might be one of the biggest. I've been shouting the praises of Brian Flores for ever since last year when they were supposed to go. Everyone was saying 0-16 Miami Dolphins, and he ended up pulling 5 games out of that crew. People want to play for Brian Flores, so I don't see them wavering in this game. Yeah, like Jacob said, it doesn't matter who starts for this game. I would preferably Patrick if any kind of pain with Tua. He really does scare me. I like Tua a lot, but man, whenever he's hurt, it scares the hell out of me. So I would probably keep it. I would give it to the Dolphins. When Joe Burrow went down, all hope of the Bengals winning a game kind of went down with them.
Right. Okay. Now we're going to go to Jonathan. Who do you have winning in this game, and do you think they cover on the spread?
Same thing as both of you. I'm going to pick the Dolphins right here. I'm going to pick the cover. And also to counter, well, not counter, like piggyback what Alex said, Tua is also made me nervous about it. Even when he first got started on the field, I'm a little concerned of with his health. Along with it, I know it's a bit of a thumb injury along with it, and I got very, very nervous about it because even I thought Miami's just a little too fast on it, getting him right now on it, and I just felt like they were not ready for that one yet. I still think they were not ready to fully expand that as a whole yet, but I still think they can still pull this off, even maybe with Tua or Fitzpatrick along with it. I'm going to pick them to win, but I'm covering the spread.
Okay. So for me, I have Miami winning this game, but Miami has been really weird too, kind of like some other teams, to where they win, but you would think they would blow out a team, but they don't necessarily do that. They somehow keep it close. That may not be the case this week. They might blow them out. I mean, they've blown out teams at times too that they should have, like the Jets, but there's been games they should have won that they either lost or it was a little too close. And that I don't care who it is, I always hate the spread when it's at 10 or more. So I'm going to go with Miami, but their over-under is at 42.5. I think that goes under. Looking at it right here, I think Miami wins, but I don't think it goes over 42 because I just don't see Cincinnati scoring more than like 7 points. So that's who I got. I got Miami, and I think I'm not going to go with the spread just to be safe. I'm going to go with the under on this one instead. So now we're going to move on to our next game, and that is the Cleveland Browns going to Tennessee to take on the Titans. Tennessee is currently a 5-point favorite in this game. Obviously they did horrible things to my Colts. It was a memory I hate. I will always hate. And I hope Tennessee Bill O'Brien as their next GM so they can get rid of Derrick Henry. Won't happen, but hey, man can hope, right? So I'm going to go to Alec first. Who do you have winning this game and why? And do you think the spread will be covered?
What's the spread again? I'm sorry, I think I misheard it.
Tennessee's favored by 5.
Okay. This one's tough, man. Tennessee is one of those teams. Both teams are kind of weird because they'll losing against somebody, and then the next week, Ryan Tannehill lays an egg. Or we all remember the Texans Browns game, one of the most boring games I ever watched. It was just weird, and whereas you would think the team, the tandem of Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, that tandem's been killing it lately. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and keep it safe. I'm gonna stick with probably one of my MVP favorites, which I think he should be talked about in the MVP, is Derrick Henry. I'm going to go ahead and hitch my wagon to the Tennessee Titans. I don't think they'll cover the spread. I think it'll be a field goal game, especially if that defense can hold. If the Cleveland defense can hold Derrick Henry to under 2. Let's see if they can keep him under 200 yards. That seems to be what you have to do to beat him, is hold him under 200. But I'll go with Tennessee just to be safe. But I'm not like confident at all.
Okay. Now we're gonna go to Jonathan. Who do you have winning this game and why?
This is going to be very interesting because they're both 8-3. They both have great running games. They do have a very interesting quarterback game management. I'll say that because they were both sort of managed the ball along with it. And this is going to be very interesting for me, though. So I'm picking the under, but I'm going to pick the Browns to win this game. So the reason I'm going to pick Cleveland to win to beat the Titans because I think this is finally sort of a statement win. And I know they're 8-3. They have no losing record. Basically, Kansas Fantasy did a great job. It might be arguably Kansas Fantasy might be the best Cleveland coach. That's Marty Schottenheimer right here. Like it's no joke right here. He should have been given the key to say at Cleveland to get the Browns to 8-3. That's impressive. And I think they will do the under. And I think when I say a statement win, because majority of some of the wins they won, they were basically average or mediocre teams. This is the first. This is a competitive team. They sort of might prove it to you that yeah, we're for real. We're not just 8-3 film games. We're 9-3, beating you right here. So we are for real.
Okay. So for me, I do agree with you, Jonathan, as far as like the teams having a lot of similarities. Their run games are really good. Their defense is iffy at times. I felt like Tennessee, when they had Clowney, at times could have a really good defensive line. But with Clowney out, I believe, still with the IR, it definitely will take a hit on them. The quarterbacks, I think, are both good. I think Ryan Tannehill has played much better than I thought he was going to before the year started. But I'm going to go with Cleveland as well winning this game. And the reason why I think they'll win is because Myles Garrett is back. And I feel like Myles Garrett is going to I don't think he's going to win every single time if he's going up against Derrick Henry, because Derrick Henry, he's going to win some of those battles when it's one-on-one. But I think he can slow down the rushing from the Titans. I feel like they can get to Ryan Tannehill with Clowney, or not Clowney, with Myles Garrett. And if you make him mad, he'll rip off your helmet and hit you in the head with it. So there's that too. And I, at least with the secondary, I don't think Tennessee's defense is going to be able to stop Landry and and I think Baker Mayfield's going to have a pretty good game too. I think Tannehill's going to have a good game as well. This could be a shootout, but I'm going to go with Cleveland. And obviously, I think Cleveland will win the +5 thing, the spread. So, yeah. So now we're going to go to Jacob, and then we'll move on to our next game. Who do you have in this one?
I've said it since week 1. I'll say it again. I do not trust Ryan Tannehill. How the crap is he being this good? With that being said, though, while yes, both teams are sitting at 8-3, I feel the Titans are at a better 8-3 than the Browns. They've just played a lot better teams. They've had better games. And one thing that they've done really well is the play action or the read option. So many times last week, it would be on the goal line. They'd hand it off to Derrick Henry, but Tannehill would actually keep it himself. And everyone is stopping Derrick Henry. Just lets Tannehill walk it in. I feel that's going to be the same this week too. Myles Garrett's back. Everyone is going to be trying to stop Derrick Henry, but they do have a decent quarterback and a good receiving core and tight end core to really hurt you if you're only trying to stop Henry. So I actually have the Titans winning it, and I have them winning by 2 possessions at least.
There we go. So now we're going to move on to a game that I feel like we could go back and forth on for a little bit. We got the Detroit Lions going to Chicago to take on the Bears. Obviously, the Bears have a really good defense. Offense is a little suspect. And the Lions, you just don't know who they are. And this will be their first game without Matt Patricia. So it will be very, very interesting to see. So I'm going to go to Jonathan. Who do you have in this game? And the spread right now is Chicago is currently favored by 3. And the over-under is set at 44.5. So who do you have winning this game and why?
For me, it's a little easy. I keep it simple. Chicago winning this, keep it on the under. Keep it a little simple. It's going to be a low-scoring game. I don't believe both these teams are going to score that much. It's going to be a little simple, like 17-20, I guess, between those score lines. So could make Chicago, but a little under. Just nothing much.
Okay. For me, I'm actually going to go with Detroit in this game. And the reason why I'm going with Detroit is because while, yes, Chicago has a really good defense, or at least it looks like it at times, because I know Mr. Aaron Rodgers tore it up. Well, that offense tore it up in general. But the Bears' offense is bad. Like, it's really bad, and it's been getting worse and worse. I believe they lost 5 straight games, so that's not good for them. And yes, Detroit did not have a great game against Houston. However, I do think Detroit is better than what their record is. I think they're a 8-8 type of team, maybe 9-7. I think they potentially could make the playoffs. Whether coaching has hurt them with that chance could be up for debate. But I think Matthew Stafford is good enough to where he's going to be able to get his numbers. Kenny Golladay is not playing, which stinks, but he has other weapons to throw to as well. And I think Detroit's defense is I think they're better than Chicago's offense. So I'm going to go with Detroit, and I took them on the money line, but I would obviously take them in the spread. So now we're going to go to Jacob. Who do you have in this one and why?
This is another tricky one for me. Because you have the Lions, they're either amazing or hot garbage. So what Lions team are we getting? And then the Bears, 5-game losing streak. Started out the season 5-1, looked like they were going to win it all, and have just completely lost all hope and everything. This is going to be a low-scoring game, I think, too. But I am going to give it to the Lions, barely pulling it out. Just because Matthew Stafford, I mean, he's played with a broken back before. He has carried that team. He can definitely carry them to a win against the Bears.
True. Okay. Now we're going to go to Alec. Who do you have in this one, and do you think they covered the spread or not?
This is also a tough one. I think that I'm actually going to take the Lions as well. I think that the subtraction, it's going to be addition by subtraction with Matt Patricia over there. I'm not saying that it's going to be similar to what Raheem Morris is doing in Atlanta, but I think it'll definitely help losing that guy. It seems like Kenny Galladay is always out, and Matt Stafford still seems to put up big numbers every week. Do you know the status of DeAndre Swift?
I think he's.
Do you have any idea?
I'll look.
Okay, because if he's playing, I'll definitely give them the nod because he's been playing fantastically. The Texans made Adrian Peterson look like he was 20-something years old again. Even though we won that game, he still made them look good. They are going to have to cut back on the turnovers.
True.
When the Texans get 2 turnovers on you, and we only had, I think we have now 3 on the whole year, and 2 of them came in that game. That's not good. And one was a pretty, it's kind of one of those. I think he punched out the ball, but the other one was a pretty bad interception. So he's gonna have to cut back on those. But the Bears are just a train wreck right now. Like, this is a pretty big dive that they've taken. The trick with Nick Foles is you have to have a quarterback that gets you about like almost 90% anyway. But so I will give it to the Lions. The Bears, I don't know. This might be Matt Nagy's career right here, honestly. His career over there in the Bears. If he can't beat the Lions, they might be. I don't think I'll give him the early pink slip, but I think they'll definitely be having it filled out by the end of the game.
And I did look just to about DeAndre Swift. He is doubtful in this game. But they'll have Adrian Peterson. So
I'll still pick the Lions.
All right. So now we're going to move on to our next game, and that is the Indianapolis Colts traveling to T.Y. Hilton's home, the Houston Texans. Currently, the Colts are 3-point favorites in this game. The over-under is actually somewhat high. It's not the highest, but somewhat at 50.5 points. So I could start off in this game. And I am going with the Colts. I feel like the passing attack should be able to do some damage to the Houston secondary. T.Y. Hilton seems to always play great there. So, smart man would say put money on T.Y. Hilton getting a touchdown. He should be able to do that in this game. They're getting guys back like Jonathan Taylor's coming back this week. DeForest Buckner's coming back. Autry's coming back. They are missing Costanzo, though, who is a pretty important piece to that offensive line. So will Raven Clark be starting at offensive tackle? Oh, Lord, I hope not, because he is quite possibly the worst offensive tackle to ever play the game because he cannot protect anything. He couldn't stop a fly to get into Phillip Rivers. He is terrible. But even with him being out, as Virginia Tech ties the game, I got Indy winning. I think they cover on the spread. And look, I mean, it may not look like it because of their record, but Watson's having a career year. What's going to hurt him this game too, I believe, is Will Fuller is not playing. He's out for the year. So that is going to hurt. Now he's got to, rely on the other guys with, what's it, Cooks and, the one guy from Green Bay. Well, that seems to not be nearly as good anymore. Randall Cobb.
Randall Cobb.
And I mean, they got Kenny Stills still, right? So, he's got some
no,
guys.
they mutually parted ways.
Oh yeah, that's right. So, but yeah, I got Colts covering. They should win by at least 3, if not more. So now we're gonna go to Papa West. Jacob, who do you have in this game, and do you think the spread is covered or not?
This is going to be a fun game to watch. Whereas the last one we talked about was going to be close, but boring as all get out. This one I actually am going to be very intrigued with, because you have both teams playing to keep their spot in the playoffs. Texans at 4-7 had the worst start of the year because someone hated them with who they picked them up against. But they've really been able to pick up with that easier schedule. And then the Colts, still have a chance to win the division. So this is a very must-win game for both teams. And I mean, Deshaun has been lights out, especially what he did to the Patriots defense a couple weeks ago. He's been really good. But I think I'm just going to narrowly give it to the Colts, just because, again, I trust that defense more. Plus, Phillip Rivers does have some decent weapons, whereas Will Fuller, Deshaun's only main weapon, really, or his main weapon, is out. If only they had a 5-star receiver that they could literally just toss the ball up in the air, they could catch it out of nowhere. I feel like they did at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, didn't they have
what's his name again?
Isn't that like
I don't know who you are speaking of.
Isn't
I trust the Colts weapons a little bit more. I think it's going to be a little bit more than a 3-point win. Probably a 6 or 7. Just having one extra play that gives them a touchdown to really seal the deal.
Now we're going to go to Alec. So why are you picking the Colts, and do they cover it on the spread?
I'm actually going to pick the Colts because I picked the Colts last week and they lost. So I'm hoping to use that exact same strategy and they'll lose, because nothing makes me happy. Well, yeah, nothing makes me happier than beating the Colts. But it probably won't happen. But y'all guys are right, and thank you guys for bringing it up. Not about the DeAndre Hopkins thing, that hurts my heart. I don't understand why you guys hate me. But bringing up the fact that DeAndre Hopkins has trust me, I understand. I'm the one that posted his tweet on Thanksgiving that he tweeted. Even though I'm kind of thinking, all right, guy, move on. Like let it go. It already happened. No more talking about it. It's starting to. The Texans aren't talking about it. You shouldn't either. But I appreciate you guys bringing up DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre, God damn it! Now I'm thinking of it.
Hey, it's no problem.
Deshaun Watson's year that he's had, because and he's actually starting to get the national. Even though people have said he's a top 5, now the national audience is starting to say this guy might be a top 3 quarterback, because the things that you take away from Patrick Mahomes in terms of the weapons that he has, even though I don't hold that against him. He's doing crazy stuff. He's still the #1 quarterback in the league. Deshaun's doing left tight end. His offensive line is absolute trash. Like I worry about him every play. And he doesn't have a wide receiver now, especially with Will Fuller being out. But you also didn't mention that Bradley Roby got suspended for basically the exact same thing. that Will Fuller got suspended for. So I don't know what the hell is going on with the doctors, with whatever physician they were using. It does seem a little when it happened with Will Fuller, I was like, man, that doctor messed up. But then when it happened with Bradley Roby, I was like, okay, something seems off. But unfortunately, the Colts will probably win this game. Ty averages about 200 yards per game in our stadium, so he's gonna have a big year. If you got Ty, definitely start him. He'll probably have like 200 yards and 2 touchdowns or something like that. He always does. But yeah, I mean, with all those players coming back for the Colts, I mean, they're lined up to have a really big last run to the division. It hurts my heart to say it, but you know, it is what it is. We'll see you in 2 years.
Yeah, it's great. Broken clock is always right twice. So we got to keep that in mind.
I'll take it.
But we'll see. No, I mean the clock. It was right last week because science said Colts would win, and I guess God was like, haha, no science, and God as in Derrick Henry. So we're gonna go to Jonathan now. Who do you have winning in this game, and do you think the spread will be covered or not?
Taking the over. I'm gonna pick your Colts to win it, and it's gonna be very easy. I think it's gonna be closer than people may think.
Okay.
And I think it was more. It depends. It's gonna be close. It depends on what the Rivers might manage the ball, like mainly manage the ball in short, tight window situations. Along with that, so I think that is maybe the key to the Colts' victory. Along with it. So I'm going to pick the over, but I pick the Colts to win it.
Okay.
I also didn't say I'm going to take the over, but not because it's going to be a close game, but because I think the lead would be so insurmountable that unfortunately the genius of Deshaun Watson won't be able to get them over. It'll get them right to the line, and then something bad will happen.
There you go. All right. Well, that may be true, but now we're going to move on to our next game. We'll see Jacob back in a little bit. And it is the Jacksonville Jaguars going to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. The spread is currently favoring Minnesota right now. They are a 10.5-point favorite in this game. So I'm going to start with Alec on this one. Who do you have winning, and do you think the spread gets covered or not?
I don't think the spread will get covered, but I am going to take the Vikings in this game. They are also one of those teams that are just up and down. They have a horrible loss to they'll destroy the Texans, absolutely destroy them, and then they'll lose to the Cowboys. So they're one of those teams that are off, but Dalvin Cook is having a hell of a year. If he could just stay healthy, he would be, with Derrick Henry, be the top 2 picks next year in all fantasy drafts, I think, because he's a monster. He can catch the ball, he can run the ball fantastically. So Jacksonville, man, is just, that was one of those defenses I was really starting to get worried about when they're constantly picking up talent on that defensive end of the ball, but they just can never seem to put it together. They've been through a carousel of coaches that can't seem to find the right one. But so that's why I'm gonna not pick the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I will pick the Vikings to cover the spread and win the game.
Okay. And just update on Jacob. His phone is acting up. He will try to join us if his phone will work for him a little better. But if not, we'll get his picks and add them to the records once the games are over. So we're going to go to Jonathan. Who do you have winning in this game? And do you think Minnesota covers the spread or not?
Covering the spread. Hold on. Let me check for a second.
So the spread is 10.5.
I know. What's the spread on it?
Yeah, it's 10.5 for Minnesota.
Okay. Okay. Gonna pick the under. But I'm gonna pick the Vikings right here. That's what I'm gonna do right here.
Okay. And I'm going to pick the Vikings to win as well. But like I said, I hate the 10-point spreads. Anything that's 10 or more, I avoid like the plague, especially when it comes to the money, because I don't like losing money. It's not fun to lose money. No matter how much you lost, it's not fun. And it's not fun to see a potential of you winning $1,000 and then the spread not going in your favor, or somebody named Eric Ebron not getting a touchdown because everybody else got a touchdown but you, Eric Ebron, that I picked. Look, Hollywood Brown got a touchdown towards the end of the game. That was a fantastic, play by the GOAT, Trace McSorley. But Eric Ebron drops 2 or 3 touchdown potential passes. But no, so I'm going the under on this game because I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. But I do think Minnesota wins. But yeah, I mean, you never know. Jacksonville might win this game. I mean, it's 2020. Weird things that happen. Minnesota should have beat the Cowboys, but lost to the Cowboys. So, there's that. So now we're going to go on to our next game, and that is the Raiders going to New York to take on the Jets. The Raiders are currently favored by 8. So we're going to go to Jonathan first. Who do you have winning in this game, and do you think the Raiders cover the spread?
Yeah. What are we doing? It's the Raiders.
Okay.
Cover, sure. Sure.
I'm going to go Raiders too. I made my bets ahead of time, and when I made the bets, they were favored by 9.5 points, which I normally don't like. However, I think the Raiders' offense is going to light it up because the Jets' secondary is not good. Their defensive line is not the worst, but that secondary makes that defense look terrible. And I just don't think the Jets are going to be able to do anything on the Raiders. But you never know. Could be like last week where the Chargers, or 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, Chargers won like 34-28, something like that. So that is something to keep an eye out for. So I got the Raiders winning, and I think they cover red. And it's halftime. Yeah, Clemson game. They're up 17-10 at half. Potential interception thrown by Trevor Lawrence was dropped. So there's that. Speaking of the Jets. So now we're going to go to Alec. Who do you have winning in this game, and do you think the Raiders cover the spread or not?
Before that, I still think it's wild that this man, Trevor Lawrence, he can literally do no wrong in the eyes of scouts. Like,
True.
he had a great freshman year. He had a really bad sophomore year, and he's not playing great this year, but he's still the number 1 pick in every single mock draft, even though Justin Fields is having a fantastic year. it just freaks me. But
they did get the national championship last year.
That's fair. Like, that's fair, but he's still like he was supposed to have like this like crazy. He was supposed to put up Joe Burrow numbers. We weren't supposed to be talking about Joe Burrow last year. We were supposed to be talking about Trevor Lawrence. But anyways, I'll move on. Yeah, I mean, I'll pick the Raiders. If the Jets get a win this year, it'll be against the AFC East team, because that's just how these things go. That's the reason why it's so hard to go 0-16 is because one of those divisional games you will win, and it'll most likely be the one you weren't supposed to win. So I am going to pick the Raiders. Sorry, Jets. Y'all probably win like week 16 or something. I don't know when y'all have the number 1 pick locked down. But yeah, the Raiders they confuse the hell out of me sometimes too, man. And they battle the Chiefs all the way to the end, and then they lay a goose egg. Like I don't understand it sometimes. I just put it on against once again divisional things. Like maybe the Raiders are just built to beat the Chiefs and not anybody else, and that take it from a Rockets fan who was built to beat the Warriors and not anybody else. That doesn't work out very well. So there's gonna have to be some changes made there. But because you can't. Unfortunately, you can't play the Chiefs 16 times a year. You have to play other teams. But they'll win this game. Sam Darnold will be very upset and very sad, and just start looking for other teams because he's eventually going to go somewhere else once they draft Trevor Lawrence.
Yep, that is true. Don't know where he would go, but hey, he'll go somewhere and be a backup. And speaking of the Rockets, real quick, you guys got John Wall and I believe a first-round pick. How you feeling about that?
Yeah. It's my Wizards. To my Wizards.
Yeah, true. You guys,
I care more about the first round pick.
true. Yeah.
Sorry.
That's true. Say, because you're basically getting.
Yeah, I personally.
Same player.
Yeah, and John Wall hasn't played in 2 years.
Yeah, true.
He hasn't played since 2018, I believe. So I want to see how the Achilles holds up. The thing about the Achilles is.
Oh no.
There, it's
Right.
His gate isn't with John is not burst and go. He's gonna have trouble. Him and Russ are basically the same player. John Wall's just a little younger. I care more about the first round pick because we have like now I think we got 2 first rounders for next year.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. There's that, and then also with
we
Washington.
haven't had one for years. Their biggest thing, big talent. It was all about players that are always established.
Right.
I'm sorry. What was that?
Oh no, I was just agreeing with you, and then I thought you.
Yeah, it's fine.
Right. And hey, it looks
Oh,
like
yeah,
in Washington we're
fine. I'm more excited for the future.
right. There you go. And
I feel
hey,
Bradley Beal.
yeah, see, in Washington have Westbrook, Bradley Beal, and
I really
Denny
feel bad for
Avdija.
Bradley Beal. I have
It's gonna be fun. Oh, good. But hey, Washington, like Russell Westbrook, he wants to get those triple-double numbers for sure. I think he will be able to do that there. And, now you got a really good rookie that the Bulls surprised in taking Denny Avdija. So,
Yeah.
with
highlights.
Russell.
He's very good, though. I watched his highlights all over here the day we drafted him. It's just like, well, I think we just got to steal.
Yeah, say he's really good. So now we're gonna get back to the thing real quick. There we go. Oh, he's back. Boom. There we go. Alrighty, he is back. So now we just finished talking about the Jets.
I was saying I feel bad for Bradley Beal.
Yeah, say I do too. But hey, he's still got a good point guard coming there, and plus he's got that really good rookie, Denny. So it can't be too bad for him. But we're gonna move on to our last 1:00 game that we'll talk about today, and that is the New Orleans Saints going to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. New Orleans is currently favored by 3 points. It's been interesting to see Taysom Hill play. I don't know if I've seen a worse quarterback performance by 2 quarterbacks last week with the Saints and with Denver. I don't even think they got 100 yards combined. It was bad. But hey, I can't really complain. So for me, I'm actually going to go Atlanta in this game. I think Atlanta wins. And the reason why is unless they start Winston, I think you got to be able to pass more. I get it. Atlanta did lose to the Saints when the Saints basically just ran on them. But I don't think it's going to work this week. I think Matt Ryan and Julio Jones are going to have a much better performance. I think Atlanta overall is going to have a better performance. And assuming they don't blow the lead in the fourth quarter, they should be able to get the win. So I got Atlanta winning. And this is one where I actually went with the money line. I just said Atlanta would win flat out. I didn't go with the spread because this is either a game where Atlanta will win by like a touchdown, or Atlanta will win by like a couple points, like 2 points, or Atlanta will lose. That it's one of those games. I just don't know with Atlanta, but I think they're gonna win. That's why I went with the money line. So there's that. So we're gonna go to Alec next. Who do you have winning in this game, and do you think the spread gets covered?
I mean, even if Drew Brees was playing, I would have a hard time picking New Orleans because Atlanta's been on such a run. I think if the Atlanta Falcons do not sign Raheem Morris to be their long-term coach, they'll be making a big mistake. They're now undefeated. They start off, what was it, 0-4, 0-5, something like that.
Yeah.
And they have won every single game since then with Raheem Morris after Dan Quinn was fired. So you don't resign him. That's gonna be the biggest like signing of the offseason. He just has that offense firing off on all cylinders. Taysom Hill is, I don't know what Taysom Hill is.
Right.
He's like in his what is it, like his late 20s now? Or
I
I don't
think
even
so.
know.
Right, 27. He's 27.
Yeah, and I will say
27 years old.
the Falcons did lose with Raheem Morris because they
Oh.
did lose to the Saints, I think, 2 weeks ago.
That's right. They did.
I think that's their only loss with.
Was Raheem Morris. I believe it was before Drew Brees got injured. So, it was one of those things. But, yeah, I'm going to go with the Falcons. The Saints got to figure something out quick and hope that Drew Brees comes back full health. Because if he's not back, I have zero confidence in this team in the playoffs. And this was my preseason Super Bowl pick. And I have started to lose confidence in them. It seems week by week. And if Drew Brees is back, I could say they might even miss the playoffs based off of how Arizona's playing and other teams in those wild card spots are playing. So they got to figure something out quick. But I'll take Atlanta in this game for sure.
Okay. So now we're going to go to Jonathan, and then we'll move on to our 4:00 games. Who do you have winning in this game? And do you think the spread gets covered or not?
The spread will get covered. Gonna pick the Saints, and even if we had some so from Taysom Hill, at least he might not as far as on ball as much, but I think he can sort of manage to run around along with it, but around that Falcons defense, and I bet it's not going to be a lot of points there, so I'm gonna cover the spread. I'm gonna pick New Orleans to beat the Falcons.
Okay. So now we're going to move on to our 4:00 games, and we're going to be. Here we go. Okay. And our first game we're going to be talking about is the Rams going to Arizona, take on the Cardinals. The Rams are currently a 3-point favorite in this game. So there is that to keep in mind. I think the Rams are still in California. I think the only California team that went to Arizona was the 49ers. But you never know. They might have to go to Vegas or something, depending on what happens in California and what the guidelines are for Los Angeles. So I'm going to go to Alex first on this one. Who do you have winning between the Rams and the Cardinals, and do you think the spread gets covered?
This one's tough, man. This is one I'll take the Rams, but I might take the under, which I know it's only 3 points, but I might take the under because, dude, Arizona just doesn't give up. I thought they were over. They were done in that Seattle game. And then one of the best Hail Marys, which with DeAndre Hopkins is not really a Hail Mary. It's kind of a guarantee.
Or Hail Murray.
But this defense in LA, I almost said St. Louis. In LA, I believe they're top 5. They're playing great. They're making it so Jared Goff doesn't go have have to go out there and play hero ball. He can just play his game, not turn the ball over, and play good. Cooper Kupp is a top receiver in the league, so he's got plenty of weapons over there. So I'll go with the Rams. I'm gonna. I know it's crazy. I'm gonna take the under on this one.
Okay.
I think it'll be a 1-point game.
Alrighty. So now we're gonna go to Jonathan. Who do you have winning this game, and do you think the spread gets covered or not?
Alan, you said you covered the spread on the game?
I think he went under. He went
under.
No, I said
Yeah.
I said under.
Yeah.
Okay. I would do same thing. I will put on the under. It's going to be a close game. But I bet the Cardinals right here. I bet the Cardinals tonight beat the Rams. And it's a little bit up and down. Well, not up and down, but the Cardinals, I think it's kind of will prove their moment. We have to beat the Rams because even they did play very well the last couple of weeks. I still have a little bit of wobbly feeling along with it right here. They will still make the wild card spot. And I think this is going to really show you maybe this is sort of like going back into what we saw in the middle of the game, the first week of the year with the Cardinals. So going to pick the Cardinals, pull on the under.
Okay. I'm also going with the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals can win this game. Yeah, I know the Rams have a really good defense, and it's going to be hard to throw on them. But I just think DeAndre Hopkins is going to have a big game. I think Kyler Murray is going to be able to have big numbers, both running with the ball and throwing. Their run game should be good. Yeah, I know they have a monster to worry about. Sorry, YouTube thing popped up. Video title made me almost laugh. But I get Aaron Donald is he's a monster. It's gonna be really difficult to stop him. He's a front runner to win Defensive Player of the Year for sure. But I think that the advantage Kyler Murray has over a lot of quarterbacks that played against the Rams and struggled, like a Tom Brady and whatnot, is Kyler Murray can extend the plays by running with the ball. So I think he's going to be the difference maker in this game, and I think the Rams offensively are going to struggle today. I think they're going to have a pretty difficult time with getting the ball. I think Jared Goff is a good quarterback, but I do think he's going to struggle in this game. So I got the Cardinals, and because it gives me more money, I just went with them on the money line. So there's that.
Yeah, if Kyler wasn't injured, I would agree with everything you said.
Wait, is he injured?
But he
step on his shoulder for a bit.
has that shoulder injury. I have to see him throw, and I think he was a little timid last week in terms of running the ball. He wasn't comfortable running it, which I completely understand. He's already kind of a smaller guy. And
better be healthy.
Yeah,
I swear, if he ruins my game,
I don't know if he might be 100% healthy. I don't know, because I know it's just one of those ones that he's got to nurse it. He's got to kind of throw through it. He's got to throw that injury to being healthy, but I don't know.
Right, that's true. I didn't think about the shoulder injury. I picked them to win on the money line. It's parlay too, so one of those picks ended up being wrong for me. I'm kind of screwed out of potential grand, so that's fun. Kyler, I don't care what you have to do. Fix it.
Get that cortisone shot.
Now we're gonna move. Yeah, get the shot. Get the shot. Okay. I don't know. Get it, man. Okay. I need to win some more money. Need to get a nice TV. Anyway, we're back at it. Next game we're going to talk about is the Giants going to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. The Seahawks are a 10.5 point favorite in this game, and I believe it's Colt McCoy that's starting for the Giants. I do believe they ruled Daniel Jones out, so that obviously would suck for them. We're going to go to Jonathan first. Who do you have in this game, and do you think the spread is covered or not?
Covered, yes. I'll keep it simple. Seahawks will win it kind of pretty much easily.
Okay.
So that's pretty much all I can say.
Okay. Me, I'm going to go with Seattle as well, but since Daniel Jones is out, I believe I'm going to look that up real quick. I went with the overall points in this one. I went under. They're projecting this game to get at least 48 points. I got it under because assuming Daniel Jones is out, I don't trust Colt McCoy at all. Yeah, he's unlikely to play. He did practice, but it's unlikely. I don't trust Colt McCoy to add much to that team. So, and it looked pretty clear when Daniel Jones went down last week that Colt McCoy couldn't do anything against that Cincinnati defense. So I'm going with the Seahawks. They should win big, but I do think the overall score is going to be under 47 points. So there's that. So now we're going to go to Alec. Who do you have in this game, and do you think the spread is covered or not?
I think it's pretty straightforward. The Seahawks will win. I think they'll cover. I know it's a big spread, but I think they'll cover. Russell and DK is such a great duo. Who knew that this guy DK, who's gigantic, weighs about 240, but runs
like that,
a
yeah.
440, 40, and then and he's getting. I think his hands are getting better. That was my biggest problem with him. He was at Ole Miss with his hands, but he is getting better. He still has yet to prove it in big moments. I haven't seen him catch a big ball in a big moment. There's not going to be any big moments in this game, though. It's going to be pretty straightforward. That the Seahawks are a much better team. One of the favorites to probably win the NFC. Not my favorite, but definitely one of them. So Seattle will win, and they'll most likely cover.
Okay. So now we're going to move on to the next game, and that is the Patriots going to LA to take on the Chargers. The Patriots are currently the underdogs in this game. I believe earlier in the week they were actually favored by a point. Now they're the underdogs in this game. The Chargers are favored by 1.5. And I agree with it. I'm going with the Chargers. I get it. Patriots, they beat the Cardinals last week. Big win for them. They beat the Ravens a few weeks ago. Great. But they seem to not have a great follow-up this year. Look, say what you will about Cam Newton. The guy can't pass. All he really can do in games at this point, and he might be hurt. Him being out with COVID might have an effect on it, but all he can really do is run with the ball. So I do think that's going to hurt them because eventually you're going to have to pass. I believe you still have Joey Bosa out there, and he'll eventually get to you, and you're going to have to do more than run with it. And I don't trust them. I get it. Chargers have had leads and blown them in the fourth quarter. They've blown a lot of leads in the past. Anthony Lynn is coaching for his job at this point. So I think the Chargers win. I think Herbert is going to have another big game. And they should be able to win by more than a point. They should be able to win by at least 2. So that's what I'm going to go with. So now we're going to go to Alec. Who do you have in this game, and do you think the spread is covered?
So I think the spread does get covered, and I'm picking the Chargers. Unfortunately, what you say is true. However, I don't think it is more. It is a complete drop off for Cam Newton. I think he is suffering after effects from COVID. I had COVID I only had like 2 really bad days, and when I went back to work, and I was just swinging a hammer, and I was getting winded. So those after effects are harsh, and he's doing it every week, taking big blows from people. So I'm pretty sure it's rough. But also you have to take into account the talent levels on both teams. The Patriots don't have great talent on either side of the ball, really.
Right.
It was when Cam Newton was doing Cam Newton things. It was when Bill Belichick was doing Bill Belichick things when they were winning. But ever since Cam Newton's been limited, they haven't looked as good. Like I said last week with the Cardinals game, I think Kyler Murray was really struggling in that game, so they were able to take advantage, and that's why they pulled up the win. With the Chargers, this guy Justin Herbert just continues to blow me away week after week, coming from the guy who, when he was drafted, said he was going to be a bust. I had zero faith in Justin Herbert when he got drafted. I now love the guy. I want to see him succeed. So I'm hoping he's finally able to get this win. Like he put up 28 points against the Buccaneers, who have a decent defense, and just because it was Tom Brady, he lost that game. Like it was kind of reminiscent to Deshaun Watson's rookie year, where he put up game-winning drives against the Seahawks and the Patriots, and I think it was back-to-back weeks, but ended up losing the game because of who he was playing against. So I think he's gonna have a really good game this week. He's been having a good game every week, really. So I'll pick the Chargers. I'm going with a better quarterback at the moment. Do I think Justin Herbert is better than 2015 Cam Newton? Absolutely not. But unfortunately, he is better than 2020 Cam Newton.
All right. Okay. Jonathan, who do you have winning this game, and do you think the spread is covered? Oh, hi, Kat.
Cover the spread. On the cover.
Okay.
And I'm going to pick the Patriots.
Okay.
It's going to be a low-scoring game. Well, I'm not going to say this. It's going to be a middle-type game. It's not going to be a high-scoring game or a low-scoring game. In between the middle of it. It may seem like a high-scoring game. It just won't be a middle of it. So I'm going to pick the Pats, but the cover.
All right.
And there's a cut on your shoulder.
You good, man? Okay. He's good. Okay. I came into the room and wanted to. No, he's playing with the bag.
I want to make an appearance.
Okay.
His favorite team is the Patriots.
Yeah, and well, no, he's a fan of the Panthers. If it was up to me, his name would be Sir Purr, but
he's a Cam Newton guy.
Yeah, he's somewhat of a Cam Newton guy. This is how he visions me and him together with Aaron Rodgers flying in the background. That's what he
Got
does.
an air bomb on you.
Yes. So Rodgers, and he's gone.
There you go.
Bye. Bye, Kat. All right. So now we're going to move on to our next game. And that is going to be the Eagles going to Green Bay to take on the Packers.
Speaking of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, speaking of Rodgers, look at that. Segues. The Packers are currently favored by 7.5 points in this game. We're going to go to Jonathan, right? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Did Alec go first on the Patriots one? Or?
Actually,
yeah.
I think you went first.
I did. Okay, we're gonna go Alec then. We're gonna go to Alec. So who do you have winning in this game, and do you think they cover on the spread, or do you think spread's covered?
Yeah, not much to say on this one. I kind of said it when we were talking about coaches that were on the that were on the hot seat. Doug Peterson doesn't look like he wants to be there. Jacob might disagree with me, but I think he's doing it. He's just kind of starting to brush his hands of the whole situation, just kind of letting Carson Wentz do whatever he wants to do. So they look bad from top to bottom. I'm gonna go the Packers. Packers have had a bad game really since their game against Tampa. Like that was probably their worst game but since then they've been tearing into opponents. So I'm gonna go Green Bay, and I think they'll cover.
Okay. So now we're going to go to Jonathan. Who do you have winning in this game, and do you think the spread is covered?
I'm gonna pick the over. I'm gonna pick the Packers very easily,
Okay.
and I don't have nothing to say about that. So that's it.
Okay.
I'll pick the over.
All right. And I'm going to go with the Packers as well. I actually think this is going to be a low-scoring game, but low scoring in the sense of the Packers scoring 28 points and the Eagles maybe getting 7. That Eagles defense last week looked miserable. Like, I'm telling you what, they had less yards in that first quarter than the Broncos had in their first quarter, and they had a fucking wide receiver as their quarterback. So I've lost any hope on the Eagles. I had the Eagles winning the division before the year started. They don't want to win that division. At this point, it's really, oddly enough, it's either the Giants or the Washington. It's theirs to lose at this point. So what are you freaking doing with that bag down there? Anyway, I have the Packers winning. They should cover, but it's gonna be low scoring. So now we're gonna move on to the next game as I fight for my headphones back. And we currently have, wow, what a show. Kat, you're ruining the show. Some would say you're the star, but you ruin it. We have the Broncos taking on Kansas City. Bye, Kat. The Broncos are currently the underdogs in this game. Surprise, surprise. Kansas City is favored by 13. So I'm going to go to Jonathan. I think Jonathan. Yeah, Jonathan.
On this one.
Who do you have winning this game, and do you think Kansas City will cover the spread? Because they're currently 13-point favorites.
Cover the spread, yes. Win it very easily, Kansas City. It's not even close. And they're really unstoppable. It's no way to contain them unless you maybe try to plus them on the points, which is a little bit possible to do. They just might run through you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, going to put Kansas City.
So I'm going Kansas City too, but I didn't go with the spread because I have no idea who the quarterback of Denver is going to be this week. I don't know if Drew Lock is going to be cleared, and I think he might have actually been cleared yesterday to play, which would be good for them. But that spread is so high. It's a divisional game. I couldn't go. I couldn't, go with the spread on this one. I had to go with the over/under. I think it's gonna be a lower scoring game, but then again, I think Kansas City gets like 35 points, and the Broncos maybe get like 14, or it could be like 28-21. I guess you never know. I mean, it's 2020. Drew Lock. I think Drew Lock is still a pretty good quarterback. I just think, that Denver team has been unlucky with injuries, and whatnot have affected them on important, parts, like on defense especially. So I got Kansas City, but I'm going with under 50 points. I think it's a low-scoring game. Like I said, in the sense of Kansas City wins like 28-7 or 14 or something like that. So now we're going to go to Alec. Who do you have winning this game, and do you think Kansas City covers on the spread? And yeah.
So this is a kind of a trap game. This is kind of a trap game from both sides. It could be a trap game for the Chiefs, but it could also be a trap game for bettors. Unless the Chiefs are going to destroy the Broncos just to get a bunch of people to bet on it, and had the Chiefs win by 7. Like, that's just where it seems to be. That high of, I'm going to take the Chiefs, obviously, but that's too high of a spread for a divisional game. Any divisional game, that is way too high. You might see it more often than not from other teams, maybe, but with divisional teams, those are those those circled in the locker room. Those games are circled. Those are we're gonna play extra hard on this game. So I'm gonna take the Chiefs. Mahomes will continue his road to another MVP. Even though I personally believe Derrick Henry should be top guy for MVP this year. Without him, that team in Tennessee dies, as seen by my fantasy football numbers, because I have Ryan Tannehill, and every time Derrick Henry puts up less than 150 yards, Tannehill puts up about 10 points for me. So even though that's why I need to be MVP. But Mahomes will have a good game, probably throw for about 3 touchdowns. You'll see Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Le'Veon Bell have a big game too. But don't be surprised if this game is a lot closer than it appears to be.
Yep. So now we're going to move on to our Monday games. There's 2 on Monday, and then we got 1 more Tuesday game, and then I guess we can we'll have another little thing, because I did forget to talk about the playoffs. I'll show what the standings are in the playoffs, and then we'll see if we think any teams can maybe sneak in. So now we're going to go on to our first Monday night game, and that game is the Washington football team going to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. Big Ben is questionable. That is something to keep an eye on. I do think he's going to play, because it's Big Ben. He'll play through anything that he can. I mean, unless his arm gets like shredded. So there's that. I did not go with any bets on that game, so good. I now can watch that without worrying about anything. The Steelers are still currently a 7-point favorite in this game, which is pretty high, but we'll see. So I'm gonna go to myself first. I have Pittsburgh winning. Dog barks in the background, but I have Pittsburgh winning. I would actually say that they will not cover the spread. If I was going to bet on the spread, I would actually go with Washington, since 7 is high, and it seems like Pittsburgh struggles at home against teams that they probably should beat by a decent amount. But I think it's going to be a close game. But I just think Pittsburgh's going to come out on top at the very end. At the end of the day, it comes down to who's the better quarterback, and Big Ben is the better quarterback. Now, if Mason Rudolph plays instead, then and this is something new I'm going to do. We can change our picks, which we've kind of done ahead before because of injuries, whatnot. If Mason Rudolph is playing, I'm going Washington wins, but I think Big Ben's going to play. Therefore, I got Big Ben winning, and it's going to be like a 3 or 4 point win. So I would actually go with Washington on the spread. So now we're going to go to Alec. Who do you think is going to win this game, and is the spread covered?
So I'm going to pick the Steelers. That is my number 2 team. Obviously, I'm a Texans fan, diehard, but I'm also a Steelers fan, diehard. So have been for a while. So I've been loving the way they're playing. 10-0, it's amazing. Or was it 11-0 now?
11-0 now, yeah.
It's great, but they do play down the competition, and that's my biggest issue with the Steelers. Mike Tomlin takes it week by week, and that's why he's a great coach. But because of that, they do just enough to win. They take care of what they have to do. This is probably going to be a 10-6 game, like, to be honest.
Potentially.
Possibly even if Big Ben plays, because if he's kind of hurt already, a little hurt, he's gonna throw a few interceptions. That's a guarantee with Big Ben. He's gonna throw you at least one. You just gotta hope that you can catch it. And that defense in Washington, man, like it's I believe it's top 10. It's really good. And that's why I was really high on I almost said the Washington football team. I hate that.
Yeah.
Please don't go with that for a second year in a row. But that I was really excited when Ron Rivera signed there because he was going to get to play with Montez Sweat and Chase Young. Chase Young is going to be he's going to be what Aaron Donald is now in the future. That's how good Chase Young is. Chase Young was number 2 in the draft last year, but he was the best player that was taken. So this could be. I'm going to pick Pittsburgh. I might be like you, Matt. If Mason Rudolph is announced to play, I might change my pick.
Right.
But until then, I will pick the Steelers. But I think this is gonna be a big game for Washington too because they really want that division, and I think they can take it.
Sure. By the way, Chase Young is not the best player to come out of that draft. He is not even the best defensive player to come out of the draft. Julian Blackmon and Patrick Queen, I have ahead of him. Julian Blackmon has games on his own.
Well, debatable.
But we're going to go to Jonathan. So who do you have in this game, and why do you think Julian Blackmon's going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year over Chase Young?
All right. I had a couple things before. Can I say a couple things before I make my pick?
Yeah.
First off, if you forgot, besides Mason Rowe, you should have said Doc Hodges. I think you have a better chance over it. So just saying on that one. And second of all, before I'll say anything about this game, I forgot to, talk about surprises on the last game. I forgot to mention 2 little words for you. Antonio Gibson.
Yes. He's awesome.
Yeah. 3 touchdowns. Thanksgiving.
It's going up against TJ, man.
3 TDs on Thanksgiving. Pulling the pants at Dallas on national television.
It's going up against TJ.
Every Washingtonian loves to see. And it's a little fun Easter egg. 3 TDs by rookie. Guess who's the last person before him would do it?
Oh, God. I don't know.
Like any
Randy
rookie,
Moss.
Any position?
Oh,
Randy Moss. 1998.
Nice.
Dang.
And also saying rushing touchdowns most right here. Someone would do that. Barry Sanders. So, and I think we got very good steal of players in the 3rd round. Like, between him and last year before that was Terry McLaurin in the 3rd round right here. We had some very good players on a minimum 3rd round picks though. So we kept a very little steady go along with it. So I just want to get that part out of the way then. So, and all right, let's go to the game itself. As a fan of the football team, this is going to be very interesting because let's just say, okay, like myself being a fan out of it, so I had to be honest. I'm going to say I'm a little 2 minds about this. On the one hand, I was watching it to cover the spread against the Steelers, or I'm going to say going to pick the under, going to pick Pittsburgh. Even though it pays me to do this, but going to pick the under but I had to pick Pittsburgh under. It's going to be more of a close game, and I do have a feeling that it's going to be one of those trap games for the Steelers, though. If I down that competition, they kind of play down when they're playing because, like I said right here, don't need to brag yourself. We did have a top 10 defense. Not only that, we had a top 5, mainly on the D line, though. Like, we were that good, though. And I think we're going to pressure Ben a little bit harder. Along with that, he has some maybe trouble maybe throwing the ball. And even our run game right here, we need to keep running the ball for Pittsburgh. Just made it on the wide right here so we don't have to throw the ball. We leave that to them much. And I think if Washington might pull out the big upset, might win the division, I think they need to keep these things in factor. They need to beat Pittsburgh to pull out the upset. And that being said, I had no choice but to pick Pittsburgh for pulling on the under.
Okay. Just get out of here, cat. Get out of here.
Let me guess. Your cat is also a Ron Rivera guy. So
out of my ear. Knock the little gummy. Oh, there it is. Nope. Knock the little gummy thing out. While I get this back in, I want to remind you once again before we move on to the next game, which is the Buffalo game. Here is your defensive rookie of the year. Has won 3 games on his own, picking off the likes of Joe Burrow.
I know he was a Colts fan.
That fumble on Green Bay.
Yeah, I have no idea either.
He is
How did I know he was going to be a Colts player? Huh.
Yeah, but his numbers. He has the best numbers out of any rookie right now on the defense. He is, and he's starting to get recognized too by other people. But I've known this. So yeah, he's our replacement for Malik Hooker.
Come on.
I love it. I love it.
Come on.
So now we're gonna move on to our last Monday night game, and then we'll go to our Tuesday game because Baltimore had to screw things up. So now we have a Tuesday game, which thank you, because now we have more football on more days. So that's good. And that is the Buffalo Bills and the 49ers. The 49ers are actually favored in this game by 1.5 points. They had last week against the Rams. It looks like they're starting to get back to what they were last year. They are not in the playoffs at the moment, but you never know. They might make a run. There is, 5 games left. So that is something to keep an eye out on. I believe with the Pittsburgh game, I went first on. So we're going to go to Alec on this one. Who do you have winning between Buffalo and the 49ers, and do you think the spread is covered or not?
It's hard for me every week to pick the 49ers. They seem to have like a carousel of players in and out, in and out. I think the best thing for the 49ers to be is to kind of just sit back, relax, pick up a pretty decent first round pick, because they're always great at drafting. They have a great draft every year, so don't even try to win. Buffalo really needs this win to kind of put themselves in position to not be out of the playoffs. I believe they have the 5th seed, so they have the 5th seed, but that race is so close.
Right. Well, because they're 4th right now, and Miami is number 6, but Miami's only down 1 game.
You're right. There you go. So they're the 4th seed, but yeah, I just you gotta, in that division with Miami on your heels, being better than they've ever been. They've been the past couple years. They gotta get a win here, especially. I believe most of us picked Miami to win this game against Cincinnati. So I mean, you gotta stay in there, or else you're gonna be tied with them. You do not want a wild card spot and play either the Chiefs or the who's the other or the Colts or the Titans or something like that in your first round. That's going to be tough. So Buffalo needs this game. Josh Allen needs this game. I'll take the defense, Buffalo's defense over San Francisco's defense, because it is a lot. It's torn to shreds basically. So I'll go the Bills. And I think they will cover for sure.
Okay. So now we're going to go to Jonathan. Who do you have winning this game, and do you think the spread is covered?
I do think it will get a cover, and I think Buffalo will take this. I think Buffalo's offense might take over majority of the game alone, take over throughout the defense of San Francisco, because even though San Francisco got a little bit up right here, I still think they would have been enough, though, to kind of really get back in the race, though. They're still missing their key players, even though they might keep talking about Jimmy G or George Kittle back throughout the end of the last couple of weeks of the game. I don't think that would have been enough, though, to get back in the race in the playoffs, though. So I'm going to pick the under. I'm going to pick the Bills.
Okay. I'm also going to go with the Bills in this game. I don't think he's MVP, but I think Josh Allen is still a top 5 to top 10 quarterback. I would say closer to 5 than 10.
Yeah.
I think obviously Diggs is a pretty important guy to have on that offense. And I think Buffalo's defense is good enough to contain the 49ers offense. And I don't think the 49ers defense is going to be able to contain Buffalo's offense enough to get the win for the 49ers. So there was one point where the Bills were actually favored. I don't know why they are not anymore. but I would definitely take Buffalo, and I would definitely take the spread for sure. So now we're going to go to our last game for the week, and it is the Dallas Cowboys going to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. A must-win game for both teams as they both try to make the playoffs. Baltimore is currently out of the playoffs right now, but they're hanging in there. They're down a game from number 7. And the Dallas Cowboys are trying to win 5 games so they can win that division. The Ravens are currently favored by 7.5 points. So I'm going to go to Jonathan on this one. Who's going to win between Dallas and the Ravens? And do you think the spread gets covered?
By the brilliant genius of Mike McCarthy, no. We're gonna cover the spread. I'm gonna pick Baltimore. Lamar will be back, and I think he will basically run through pretty much the Dallas defense because their defense is garbage, and pretty much they're just basically run the ball. They maybe don't have to throw that much, and I think they're gonna come on the ground very easily. So I'm gonna pick Baltimore, but keep it under.
Okay. Well, Lamar should be cleared tomorrow to play on Tuesday. I'm going Ravens. I got them covering. If Lamar wasn't playing, it could be a different story, but even Trace McSorley would be able to get 4 touchdowns on that Cowboys defense. So I got Ravens. They're going to win by more than 7. Alec, what about you? Who's going to win this game, and do they cover?
Yeah, same thing, man. The Ravens will win. They'll cover. I hate the Ravens also, but they are a talented team at their skill positions. It'll come down to Lamar Jackson playing because this Cowboys team is bad enough. Like you said, Trace McSorley would probably put up pretty decent numbers. I would even venture to say RG3 would put up really great numbers against this team if it came down to that. So, I just hope with all my might that the Cowboys don't make the playoffs, so I don't have to hear Cowboys fans a lot earlier than I normally don't have to.
Yeah. How about that? Failures.
The most obnoxious fan base.
And to be fair, I know there's. I'm not gonna say more, but yeah.
I'm from Houston, so it is in my DNA to hate everything Dallas. Everything.
You're gonna do it for me. You're gonna do it for me, so I don't have to. Even though I'm the division rival. So
yeah. Yes.
Right. All right. So that is all the games for this week. But I'm going to pull up the playoff picture real quick for you guys, and I'm going to show everybody where we are right now because there's only 5 games left. And then we'll give our thoughts real quick, see if anybody can maybe sneak in, who's going to be out, who will be in, all that good stuff. So I'm going to pull that up really, really quick. We're going to share the screen. Bing. Got to click tab. That'd be cool. Here we go. NFL playoff picture. So right now, obviously, Steelers are number 1 in AFC. Saints are number 1 in the NFC. Then you have the Chiefs at 2, Packers at 2. Then you have the Titans at 3, Seahawks at 3, Bills at 4, Giants at 4, Browns at 5, Rams at 5, Dolphins at 6, Buccaneers at 6, Colts at 7, and then the Cardinals at 7. And the teams that are on the bubble right here, I could potentially sneak in the AFC is the Raiders at 6-3 or 6-5, Ravens 6-5. The Patriots at 5-6, and the Broncos and the Texans still have a little bit of hope at 4-7. And at NFC, you have the Vikings at 5-6, the Bears at 5-6, the 49ers at 5-6, the Lions at 4-7, Washington at 4-7, and Atlanta at 4-7. And then I guess we can throw in the Panthers at 4-8. So kind of we can. I guess we'll put 3 because that could change. Who do you think could make the playoffs that isn't in at the moment, and who do you think will be kicked out?
I'm gonna go ahead and say there is a big possibility that Baltimore will get in. I haven't looked at their. This is me not knowing anybody's remaining schedule, but
Yeah.
I think that somehow, some way, the Ravens will find some way to sneak into that bottom spot, whether it be the Colts having a massive dip, which I don't think it'll happen. I actually think they'll end up winning the division. So it's got to be the Colts, the Titans, because that division will probably come down to week 17, and then or the Dolphins having a big dip. Once it gets more towards that, the biggest killer of teams is expectations. When people start saying and start picking Dolphins are going to win, Dolphins are going to win. How does that young team hold up? How does Brian Flores hold up? I think he can hold up well, and I think they are ahead of schedule. But I think the Dolphins there's a big chance they'll drop out. I don't think the Browns will drop out. They have a game. Their game is meant to have it's meant to last longer in terms of long-term success.
Yeah.
So I don't think that they'll go out. But so Ravens on the AFC side, and then the NFC side. If you could scroll down a little bit.
Yeah. So I'll
I
pull
don't
up
know, man. With the fact that it's the Vikings, the Bears, the most you have to worry about is Washington. Can Washington catch? Who is it? The Giants.
The Giants, yeah. I think they're tied currently.
So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's the most that I have to worry about. I don't really think the Vikings or the Bears are going to make a run to drop out the Cardinals. The Cardinals just have to not lose. But Washington, I think Washington will end up winning the division. I think these couple weeks, if he misses a couple weeks, that Daniel Jones is missing is going to be crucial.
True. What about you, Jonathan? Who do you think could get in, and then who do you think could be eliminated on both sides? I'll pull up who's currently in at the moment.
Okay, I'm going to start over AFC.
Okay.
On the bubble, I think the Raiders could rebound from this.
Yeah.
Might bounce back in the wildcard spot. To actually go out, I'm actually going to put Miami out, maybe due to a tiebreaker, I guess. If they lost 1 or 2 games, they might be out of the playoffs.
Right.
And it might put in the spot when the Raiders were at the Dolphins spot. So that's pretty much my position. Okay, even NFC, even you take my fandom aside, I think Washington will take the Giants out, probably win the East, because the difference between this team and the entire NFC is because we actually got a real coach. That's number one. Number two, we actually have a real defense, a real running game, and pretty much a plan at least, though. Granted, our record's not pretty, basically. So, and basically, what Ron just said, he kind of reminds me sort of his 2014 Panthers team, because people forget, like, they were basically 6-9-1 and still won their division right here, though. And probably I think they did win a playoff game around that. So even the record's not pretty, at least they can hang tough right here around the last couple of weeks, though. So, and I'll just say this: we might win like 3 games and win the division, though. Let's be honest. Yeah. The possible wins, I think, maybe in our coming weeks for us is probably in a couple of weeks with actually, ironically, we're playing the Panthers in a couple of weeks. And the final game, we're playing Philadelphia. So there's a possibility we will take the division back over the Giants.
Okay. And for me, I'll start on the AFC side. I think the Ravens are going to hop in. I think they'll get in. I just have this weird feeling that the Browns are going to miss the playoffs. I do think they win this week, which, I guess helps their case to make it. But I think the Ravens could hop in, and it's the Browns. So I just feel like they're going to beat the Browns, and they're going to be eliminated, although I do think they have a good chance to make it. But looking at who's, not winning the division at the moment, I think Miami has a better chance. They have a pretty favorable schedule, if I remember right. And the Colts, they play Houston twice. They play the Raiders once. They play the Steelers, who at this point I believe will be resting their players, so they should win. And honestly, I can't see the Steelers going 16-0. It's very hard to go 16-0. So I mean, even 15-1, 14-2. That's what I'm thinking the Steelers will be at the end of the year, and I think the Colts have the team to beat them. just with their defense. I think they can shut that offense down, and I think the Colts can game plan well enough to at least give the Steelers their first loss. So you have that, and then you have Jacksonville at the end of the year, and who knows who's going to be their quarterback. So I think they have the best chance out of, I guess, Miami and the Browns to make it. But I still think Miami's going to make it, and odds are I think the Browns will make it too. But out of the three, I think the Browns have the least likely chance to make it. On the NFC side, I do agree. I think Washington wins that division because with Washington, they have the best quarterback that's currently playing in their division with Alex Smith.
Future comeback player.
Yeah, he's a future Hall of Famer. Coming back from the injury is crazy. So, wait, what was that?
Sorry about his leg because it was JJ that did that to Alex Smith's leg.
Yeah,
I really felt really bad when that happened. It reminded me of Joe Heisman, and I was like, that just.
And also on the more freakier thing, it happened on the same day. It's more freakier if it happened on the same day.
Yeah, that's why I was like, man, the parallels are insane. I'm just happy that he's back and he's good. He looks good, man. But
true.
I was at the game. I was at the game myself though with my father and my sister were for friends, so we saw up close and personal. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I mean, if there was no fans there, just that would. I mean, for at least the media people in the stadium, it would be like hard to be in there because there's one guy that said when Paris Campbell had that injury, just like you could actually hear him like screaming in pain because no fans in the crowd. So that like made it like weird. But I do think Washington can get in and win the division. Like I said, I think Alex Smith is the difference right there, and they're tied right now. But I actually think out of the three that are at 5 through 7, I think the Buccaneers could be eliminated from the playoffs. I mean, there's something going on behind the scenes, I think, with Brady and Bruce Arians. It just feels really weird. Brady's numbers are very similar to Winston's numbers when he was in Tampa last year. Outside of the interceptions, there isn't as many interceptions from Brady as Winston. But still, I think Tampa Bay, I don't like their chances realistically. The Vikings are starting to come alive. I think the Vikings can sneak in there. And also the 49ers. I think the 49ers are a team to watch out for because they might go on a run and get in there. I mean, this weekend's going to be very important for some of these teams, but 49ers, they have a really good chance, I think, as well as the Vikings. The Bears are dead. They're dead. Lions are dead. Washington could get in. The Falcons are dead. Panthers are dead. Eagles are dead. Cowboys are dead. So that's who I got. Yeah, there we go. I think that's going to do it.
Look at that first week of playoff games. I was saying, look at the first week of playoff games. It's going to be a fun playoff, like at least that first week. Yeah. At least if it holds up, Chiefs versus Colts could be a great game. Titans versus Dolphins could be fun, and Bills and Browns could be fun as well. And same thing with the NFC. I would love to see a Packers Cardinals game with Kyler at full strength. Hell yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. You know what would be interesting though? Let's just say we won the division. You know the team I want to play in the playoffs though, and also it's a bit weird to say this, but I want to put Tampa.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Honestly, looking at who's in right now,
I think that would be a decent matchup.
I think the best chance for Washington is Tampa, because I think the Rams have a good enough defense to stop you guys on the offense.
And even earlier the year, we played the Cardinals though. We couldn't stop Kyle Murray on the run though, so that's the reason I picked Tampa though. And at least we maybe stop raining on their defense along with it. So that's the reason I pick it. And we had some very numbered history with Tampa though, pretty much the last meetings, but even playoffs, even our very last playoff, whenever back in 2005 was Tampa. So there might be sort of a good luck tremor to it. So
that's true. So all right. I think that's gonna do her for today. Since we've gone over playoffs and whatnot, we'll revisit it in the probably not next week, but the week after. We'll probably revisit and then we'll call it there. So I'll go around the table real quick. We'll see where you guys can find each other, and then we'll skedaddle. Jonathan, where can the people find you?
Since I'm very back now, fully recovered from my surgery, you can find me around Facebook, John Peck, and also you can find me on Instagram, on Twitter, because I don't use on that much, at JPET1098. So that's pretty much it.
Alrighty, now we're going to go to Alec. Where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, talking a lot of things at AlecMiller0423. If you're here, I'm assuming you like sports, so hit up me, Kevin Post, or Papa West to get into GMD Sports. We're trying to get that league like off the ground running. And if you're an anime fan, I do anime TikTok / like Facebook videos or whatever, where I review anime episodes. Like I'll watch anime basically every day and review it. So if you like anime, go there and check me out there.
Okay. Alrighty. And then you can find me here on this channel. We have After Dark in a little bit, so you can find me on there doing After Dark and all that good stuff. You can find me on the show. And that's pretty much it. Please do not come to my home. I don't want you here unless I ask you to come over. Don't know what's on my lip. I just noticed that. Oh, it's not coming away. Where is it? Here it is. We got it. Cool. We're good. I don't know. Maybe it's something the cat had. I don't know. It was crawling all over me a little bit ago. But don't go to my house, for one. We're quarantined, so don't go there. And two, if I don't know you, I don't want you here. So yeah, there we go. I've been Matt. That's been Jonathan. That's been Alec. And we will see you next time. Bye-bye.